All right, Merrick, I want to answer your question. Now, one of the things that you'll hear Cotton say, when the wick is tested, the body is tested. Therefore, the wick and the body are the same things. Now, typically, I do mark the wick because I want to be in the trade. I'm not interested in the most greedy price. I'm interested in the most responsive price. So this is a beautiful example that I'm going to show you here. So let's mark each of these levels. And these are great because they're all just bodies. And it doesn't matter if it's a body or a wick. And I know your question is, which one of these do you trade? Well, I want to show you something interesting. So this is the front side. And this is the far back side. Okay, some people wouldn't even mark this one, just front side and back side. But I want to show you something very interesting. So price went way away, so they all qualify for 2 candle separation. Price came back, and let's zoom in here, and I want you to notice something. In every case, price bounced off of each line. Touch, bounce, touch, bounce, touch, bounce. So to answer your question, which one do you take? I'm typically most interested in the backside only. But I'll tell you something interesting that happens. If the backside bounces, usually the next one will bounce, and then usually the next one will bounce. Okay? That doesn't matter whether this is a wick or a body, because I would mark them all the same. Let's say there were these 3 candles. I would mark them just like this. But none of these work here because you do not have 2 candle separation. So I mark the lowest part of the candle. Now, if it's a ridiculous long wick, I might mark the wick and the body. And the way I would denote that, let me come over and can I find a long wick bottom? Let's just do one. It doesn't matter. So let's say I was going to mark this wick. I would just simply make the note wick. Okay, to where, here, let me change my, where you can see where it says wick. And then I would mark it with base. Now, typically this only happens on much larger time frame, like 4 hours and 1 hour, and the wicks are really long. And I will mark the wick and the base separately, and I will name them separately. So I wanted to show you that example because that's pretty amazing, isn't it? The backside bounced, the middle bounced, and the front side bounced. I want 2 candle clearance and come back. My number 1 goal is this backside. If the backside doesn't bounce, I would never trade any of those.